You are now listening to the number one podcast in Sabah.
Anda sedang mendengar Kinabalu Podcast.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Praise be to Allah.
Coming to you live from Sabah. This is Kinabalu Podcast.
Baik, podcast ini dibawakan khas kepada anda oleh the 3rd Global Agritech Summit 2024. Come and join us this upcoming 8th and the 9th of October at Sabah International Convention Center, SICC, for an amazing event in celebrations with the future of agriculture. Di sini, Global Agritech 2024 ini ataupun GATES akan memberikan anda all scope of angles to upscale opportunities in the future of making the agriculture more profitable, more productive, more sustainable, and to the era of the modernization sesuai mengikut cabang bidang perdagangan anda.
Bukan itu saja. Di sepanjang 2 hari ini kita akan dihujani dengan conference, Q&A sessions, bual bicara daripada panel-panel terkemuka negara, khas buat hadirin dan hadirat yang hadir.
Betul.
Tidak lupa juga kita ada booth-booth yang padat dengan pameran serta knowledge yang tersedia oleh para peserta pameran di Gates 2024 yang ada berjumlah 80 yang kita dengarlah. Selain itu juga kita ada showcase, demonstrasi dan peluang meluaskan networking kita antara satu pengusaha ke pengusaha yang lain.
Betul.
Jadi jangan lepaskan peluang ini dengan mendaftar penyertaan anda sekarang juga. Dan untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut lagi, terus saja layari www.globalagritechsummit.com atau email mereka di info@globalagritechsummit.com, dan anda juga boleh direct WhatsApp mereka di 012 335 5067.
Kita panggis
Kihoi.
Listen up, it's time to get the word out. Kinabalu Podcast is what it's about. Hear the stories, hear the beats. Listen to the podcast, it's sure to please. Kinabalu Podcast is the one to hear. It's full of stories, music, and cheer. So turn it up and listen loud. This podcast is sure to make you proud. It's the hottest podcast around. It's sure to make your feet move to the sound. It's the perfect way to pass the time. So turn it up and get in the groove and rhyme. Kinabalu Podcast is the one to hear. It's full of stories, music, and cheer. So turn it up and listen loud. This podcast is sure to make you proud. The stories are inspiring and the music is great. It's sure to make you stay up late. So don't be shy, check it out. This podcast is sure to make you shy. Kinabalu Podcast is the one to hear.
Yo.
Selamat kembali ke Kinabalu Podcast. Saya Ricardo.
Saya Kenny.
The number one podcast in Sabah.
Super legit.
And kami masih lagi ingin mempromosikan GATES 2024 ataupun Global Agritech Summit 2024 yang akan berlangsung di SICC 8 dan juga 9 hari bulan nanti Oktober.
Yeah man, sebulan lagi.
Untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut, boleh pergi produk talk kami, dan seperti yang kami cakap di intro kami tadi, ada detail-detail di situ lah. Nanti di posting kami, di tutorial kami akan ada jugalah. Well, producer ada bagi kita subject actually.
What is it? Macam suspense.
Your most traumatized events that have occurs or happened to you, your lifetime, as in for now.
Up till now lah.
For
as long as we lived.
I'm gonna start first.
You go ahead man.
My first one is kita ada banyak traumatized event ataupun yang kita dah dapat lupa lah. First is the passing of my dad. That particular event, I may say, tiada satu orang pun yang pernah mau bersiap sedia untuk kehilangan kau punya bapa. So up until now saya masih tidak percaya yang my father gone man. So saya masih terngiang-ngiang suara dia. Saya merindukan dia punya nasihat-nasihat, and how dia raised us. And I think tiada siapa yang pernah mau bersiap sedia untuk kehilangan parents ataupun seorang ayah. Kita tidak mau imagine pun how actually. So that is one of my most traumatized, yang aku trauma. Kenapa? Masa start kena masuk dalam keranda, and keranda kena bawa balik pergi Taman Rudu daripada Queen Elizabeth, and then bila saya sampai tu kan di rumah, saya stay for I think for the last 5 to 10 minutes stuck di pintu because sekujur tubuh yang dulu saya sayang, yang saya anggap safe space for me sudah tiada dan sudah kaku di situ. So saya trauma tu event because of saya tak dapat terima. Even though dia sakit quite fast, quite rapid. Get to know dia ada cancer pun December. Kita acknowledge dia ada batuk berdarah I think September 2013 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then 2014 he passed on, which is April. And sangat cepat, kau tengok beza dia berapa bulan saja. So during that time dia buat lobectomy, which is to remove one of the lung. So sini kita kanan ni ada 2, di sini ada 3 parts. So one of the lung yang di atas tu remove entirely. It's like defying the power of God pula macam. Of course lah, it's technology, science and all.
It's medical science.
Medical stuff and all.
Yeah.
But the person yang I don't know what happened because in the same ward ada 2 katil saja. And sebelah dia tu uncle ni, same age as my dad, same year, same birthday.
My goodness.
Yeah, same date.
Coincidence.
11 hari bulan November, 11. Dia pun 11. Same year as my dad.
My goodness.
And also same penyakit, lung cancer. The difference is my dad tidak smoke,
Okay.
tapi dia memang heavy smoker.
Okay.
So probably he got it from there. Masa buat what do you call that, mau ambil the sample tu, what do you call that?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a term lah. Dia buat untuk ambil to get to know whether it's cancer or not. Actually twice orang pernah buat. Sebab satu tu tidak berapa clear. So the process yang membuatkan dia sebenarnya prolong. The third one untuk lobectomy tu, he didn't sign it, the friend. Dia tidak sign, my dad sign. So my dad went on for the surgery to remove the one of the lung punya part.
Right.
He didn't. He survived for many years. He died eventually, but because not because of cancer. He was cancer free. He was on fast stage, I think third stage juga. As my dad. Yeah.
Oh, that's wow.
He passed on because of dia ada because of that dia sudah antibody dia sudah tak kuat. So whatever comes in boleh buat penyakit dia sangat cepat merebak. Dia actually macam ada infection di pernafasan ke begitu sih.
Oh, respiratory infection lah itu.
Nothing to do with dia punya lung.
Okay, there's something to do with dia punya chemotherapy and all that. It reduces dia punya.
He didn't go for chemo pun.
No pun lah.
No.
I see.
He go for organic way of healing, which is
chemotherapy lah.
Yeah, therapy.
If it's correct.
Yeah, which is dia consume banyak air, dia avoid outdoor activities. Dia pakai mask kalau di mana-mana dia pergi. Dia tidak pergi banyak tempat yang panas, because itu boleh sparks the cancer cells. Dia tidak makan gula, which is sparks the cancer cells juga, dan tidak makan minyak. And also dia ada, I don't know whether it's true or not, allegedly the Kangen water. So
Right.
he consume that, and also dia buat almost daily buat the daripada belakang masuk belakang tu, push it in water, lepas tu flush it out gitu. So the colon mau kasih clean the colon sort of like that.
Or something. I forgot the term, but it's colon flushing. Like you kasih bersih usus.
Usus ya. He got free. So unfortunately my dad pula pass away months. I think a few months after that. So I was traumatized by seeing the part of the the lung. Because we got sources lah. Ada saudara kerja di dalam. Dia even kasih gambar lagi. As big as your palm, bisa dia taruh in a plastic bag. By right, when you got cancer, kau tak boleh sakit dan luka. Jangan bilang di luar, yang external ni, apalagi yang internal. So di dalam tu untuk dia baik. Sudahlah kau dah cancer, kau mau fight lagi. But actually he's already spread out to the lymph nodes.
Oh my goodness.
So kalau dorang cakap tu sudah fourth stage, kalau sudah pergi lymph nodes, which is these nodes ni, these lymph nodes ni sudah connected to all of your parts of the body.
Yeah.
Tapi the Uncle Christie, the name is Uncle Christie, dia female name, tapi Uncle Christie, he survived for many years. So man, that is one of my traumatized event lah. And
dude, I'm very sorry to hear this, man. I know you've talked about this for quite some time. We know each other for a long time, but we know how you feel, man.
Let me ask you, have you ever imagined how your father gonna pass on?
No, man.
Have you ever like macam I want to get ready, macam apa should I do,
I've accepted the fact that you will never get ready for someone's death.
No, man,
never.
Man.
Even for myself, this just to say you're not ready for anybody's death, man. Like for my nenek, my beloved Dadu, which is one of the reasons why I've been staying in camp for so long, up until 2022, I think. We built a house. This studio that we're in is actually for her. Actually, now that she's passed on, we are converting it something else. But that's beside the point. We will never get ready for her passing, and especially
someone very close to you.
Yeah, in the later stages in life, we've been providing this and that. I've been going to Beaufort, back here, bringing medication. My mom did everything that she did. She could. She told me that she's already ready, but that they are not ready.
Yeah, man.
We're not ready as well. So when they pass, they'll just go without you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely won't be able to feel what you feel, man. I can only empathize, and that's not enough. I would never imagine how it will be like losing my own father or my mother. Definitely won't.
Well, another event.
Yeah. This is your second traumatizing experience.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Is during the labor of my first child ataupun Ingrid.
Nana.
Yeah. Because me and Nat, kita ada miscarriage 2 times.
I see.
And then the possibility is very odd. And also at the same time the level of dangerousness is
the risk is very high.
And saya cuti almost a month plus, and I don't care about anything else to make sure the labor going smoothly lah.
Yeah, man, family come first, man.
So
Definitely.
I left everything game. I stayed in KK during dia punya third trimester yang doing labor sudah. 2 weeks before saya sudah standby pergi sana. And then we thought it's just like that. But apparently my wife, dia kena tahan lagi.
Oh.
Masuk pergi the internal care unit lagi, which is dia pendarahan yang sangat teruk.
My goodness.
Saya tengok dia pun sudah, muka dia pun sudah lemah habis, weak, pale and everything. Dia tidak selera mau makan. Even though dia banyak macam order, saya pergi beli apa semua, dia tidak makan. Then I thought 2-3 days, 7 days. Rupanya 7 days, that long. And I remember the doctor call me up yang macam, okay, kau boleh kami daripada hospital, dia cakap boleh bawa balik the uri kah, dia bilang, to the hospital. Masa tu saya sudah sama sebelum ice box,
The uri
the fridge.
Oh.
It's in the saki-baki from the birth. Kalau
Okay.
bagi birth ada yang macam dia punya
Dia punya placenta,
placenta and all tu.
Yeah.
Terbunyi lah kita panggil kan.
Alright, yeah.
So dorang they know the parts yang kalau dia sudah keluar. So dorang bilang macam ada tertinggal dalam lagi. So I said, saya sudah masuk dalam fridge ni because I want to bring back, mau tanam di sini lah,
Right.
Kota Baru dulu. Then saya prepare lah balik, kasih keluar. Then dia call balik, oh no need. Kita ada buat dorang they took picture from second, dorang ada make records. Then okay, that's good. Tapi when I hold it, it's actually parts of your baby, part of my wife at the same time
Yeah.
is there. And dia bertarung nyawa to
Give birth to
give
Nana.
birth to Nana. And you know what I do? What I did? I actually stayed di kereta. Padahal saya boleh balik pun. Instead not that far pun daripada UC pergi Likas, stay
Yeah, yeah.
hospital Likas. We did actually ask around, did our research to apa ni, pergi yang private. Then some of my family members, ada kawan pada family members yang nurse and all yang bilang, if ada complication kan di private, diorang akan hantar pergi government punya hospital juga, dia bilang they will come here,
I see.
because diorang dah cukup equipment and all.
Okay.
So come to think of it, to pay, we don't mind, memang kami ready sudah. Sudah bayar. Ada beberapa tempat yang kami sudah, ada yang 5,000, 7,000, ada yang 12,000, up to 15,000 pun ada, macam Legals and all.
Yeah.
But then out of that, saya free, saya tidak bayar apa-apa pun sama government servant.
Yeah. You got GL and all that.
Yeah, so my wife entitled, but not to put it aside. During that time, out of that 7 days,
Right.
it's actually prior to before that pun saya sudah stay, because kami pergi, lepas tu dah jadi, you know, kami pergi tapi belum ada bukaan and all. So saya tengok memang silat, memang dia sangat-sangat penat, sangat-sangat in a very
Weak stage.
weak stage. And I cannot see her begitu. Dia baring, dia angkat Nana pergi sebelah, dia terpaksa berdiri duduk, baru pergi pusing pergi sebelah. Saya on standby. One time I was doing my recording di sana, just to kill the time. My suddenly net come. She came and it's time, dia bilang, dia tunjuk tangan dia berdarah sudah. So pulang abut, pergi hospital apa semua.
Okay.
Then sebab kami pergi 2 nights in a row, dia sudah kesakitan, tapi belum lagi doktor suruh balik.
Okay.
Doktor suruh balik, which is we understand lah juga. Orang pun banyak beranak apa semua sana kan, bersalin lah. Then masa berdarah sudah kami pergi. So okay, doktor bilang okay sudah, dia bilang okay this time. So they stay, I think from mistaken, one night daripada tu petang tu sampai besok dia subuh baru dia dapat. So dia mengerang kesakitan and all, menunggu tu masa. I'm not saying yang saya punya teruk, orang lain pun sama juga, but my experience lah. Then saya tengok my mom, dia nangis sudah kesakitan apa semua. I cannot bear to see. I was so traumatized by that. And what I did, saya stay sana. Malam tu saya tidur di kereta. Saya thought if anything just let me know, I'm just a few steps away. So I do best part. Masa saya parking, cari tempat saya untuk saya mau rehat tidur apa semua, saya punya bekal ada sudah. I got my Netflix on, ada sudah everything. I thought only me, rupanya ramai laki-laki husband yang stay di sana. So kami becomes friend, bercerita-cerita gini. Dia macam perkampungan sudah sana, waiting for dia punya. Cuma saya people kami go lah, sebab orang 1 malam, 2 malam, saya 7 malam.
Oh, you have to stay there.
Yeah.
Kau jadi ketua kampung lah.
Yeah. And then pagi I go buy breakfast dulu, baru hantar dia, baru saya balik rumah. Because bukan masa melawat kan. Balik rumah, saya tidur, nap, tunggu sampai pukul 2. Then saya pergi lagi. Ada time masa melawat. No 12 ke 2 tu masa melawat.
I see.
Lepas tu saya bagi makan, supply makan and all. Then talking back masa labor tu, saya miss half an hour. So actually I want to go in. I want to experience myself lah. But saya tertidur di kereta. Sekali dia cakap I'm going in, dia bilang sini. So saya termiss tu, saya dah dapat sign tu untuk join in, masuk.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Then I'm up until now I also don't know how brave am I gonna be. You know,
If that
if that happens, it's gonna happen lah. Then saya tunggu dia kena tahan lama. It was actually sudah pukul I think around pukul 1, pukul 2, pukul 3.
Morning lah?
No. Dia lahir pukul 4 begitu. Up to during mau pagi-pagi sudah 6 o'clock begitu. Tapi dia kena tahan sampai pukul 2, pukul 3 begitu.
Oh my goodness.
Next day. So, because of that lah, complication because of pendarahan apa semua. Then I happen to see my baby, I think sudah pukul 2, pukul 3 begitu. Then kena hantar pergi the ward. Saya kasih azan apa semua. Then it is like macam, wow, I'm a father now. After 5 years kami got nobody. And saya tengok, saya ingat Sinet boleh balik, saya teruskan, lepas tu kebanyakan orang terus balik kan.
Yeah.
Another 5 more days after that. So I was so traumatized because seeing her begitu give birth,
Right.
and then berlabor apa semua. Saya rasa macam many people, I have to say, many husbands out there terlupa pasal ni benda when they want to mess around.
Yeah.
You know, scandal here and there, make shit. They forgot yang dia punya wife ni actually bertarung nyawa to give birth to your children, to your child. So I think husband out there, you need to remember this and remember this clearly. Sebab ada orang out of 10, ada yang 1 or 2 actually passed on. Some ada together with the baby, or the baby safe and the wife passed on.
Yeah.
Because of mengerang terlalu lama, habis tenaga apa semua, dan memang ditakdirkan untuk pergi.
Yeah. The risk is always there.
Yeah, saya pun sangat risau masa tu, my first experience and all. Dan saya betul-betul berdoa banyak kali apa semua, saya risau. So for me, these 2 events, it's the 2 events yang betul-betul traumatized me up until now. So itulah orang cakap, jadi bila lagi ada anak lagi, you know.
I see.
It's actually not easy. Sinet pun macam, I don't know how I can bear this anymore, you know. So kami ada 3 kan.
Yeah.
So saya salute orang-orang yang lama lah. Yang macam kami ada 6 orang adik-beradik, my mom. And my banyak lah family kita close. Kau ada 2 kan.
Yeah.
Adik-beradik. But you know, kadang-kadang rezeki. And good thing banyak anak-beradik, ada banyak adik-beradik.
Yeah.
And nothing, these 2 events memang
Traumatizing.
traumatizing for me lah.
Does it change your life?
Oh,
Made you into a better person, a stronger person?
For sure.
You know?
Frankly speaking, kami daripada background dusun, which is a minority of Muslim. Saya tidak belajar agama dan mas juga last time.
I see.
Saya bukan berbangga dengan itu. Saya tidak sembahyang kadang-kadang hari Jumaat, hari raya. You know, because my dad is from pagan, my mom pula from an SDA. So dulu bukan ada sumber macam dari YouTube, bukan ada banyak ustaz roaming around yang you can go to, and masih ada that stigma yang kalau kau sudah lewat malu sudah kau mau belajar bah.
Yeah.
Gitu kan. So kami faham, and kami punya job is to learn. Yet my zaman pun still masih begitu. Yang takkan kau dah pandai membaca, kau dah pandai sembahyang gitu.
Yeah.
So masa my dad coma for 5 days, I said I have tried everything sudah. Saya nak mau my dad happen ni, dia meninggal ni, saya tidak buat apa-apa. Apa lagi semua buat dia? We have tried all. Kami pergi jumpa the Shifa punya doktor, yang perubatan Shifa dari segi Islam. Jumpa doktor sana, spesialis sana sini. Yet saya nak tahu selama pergi mana. Then I said tiada lagi. Yang bagi kau nyawa is God. Yang tarik nyawa kau pun is God.
God also.
I said I have to go back there. So I started learning online, saya baca macam mana mau sembahyang balik ni, di flashback macam mana mau ambil wuduk ni, macam mana actually mau baca ini, what kind of doa. And apparently right after that, saya betul-betul transform myself to really want to learn. I think for the past 1 to 2 years after that, saya betul-betul belajar. Every night saya baca Yasin, every night tau. Kalau saya tertinggal satu, saya akan baca 2 kali in the second night, which is tak perlu pun kau buat gitu, but just my willing to do lah. And
Which is good.
So I learn a lot daripada Muslim punya perspektif ataupun punya knowledge, because of my dad punya apa yang berlaku tu my dad. Which is as a man, as it's gonna be like orang bilang imam to the family. You should know that. And my wife pula, it makes me more responsible. My high sense of responsibility. I have to be more calmer, not macam dulu baran and all. I have to, kau boleh handle orang, mungkin kau boleh baran orang, tapi anak kau nak boleh baran. Things yang dia sepatutnya dah buat, dia buat, tapi you need to understand,
be patient
and all. So it changed me, transformed me to what I am now. I'm not saying I'm good, perfect, but better me. So I think these events yang whatever we've been through, banyak we've been through. Kita pernah yang macam, oh shit, saya mau kena kejar duit sudah, kereta mau kena tarik apa semua. Itu events yang memang semua pun berlaku. But these two events memang really put something I cannot forget.
Nothing compares to that too.
Adalah banyak-banyak apa semua, but ni memang stick to my heart till I die lah.
Damn, man.
How about you, man?
Well, for me,
let me just finish this.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
The loss of our house.
That's the third one. Yes.
Yeah, that's the third one.
My God.
I thought I'm very manly that time. I thought I'm brave enough to brave the rain lah, orang bilang. Masa di Singapore, I was like, okay, sudah takdir ni. What else to do? Yang penting tiada nyawa yang terlibat, apa semua, kami semua selamat. Then I'm okay. With the help from surrounding kawan-kawan di sini, di Singapore, overwhelming. I'm just don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
Absolutely grateful.
And so bila sampai KK jumpa my in-law, because she was there. She was inside the house.
I was there at the aftermath.
You were there. Video call was there, And dia nangis jumpa kami apa semua. Sorry mami tak dapat kasih selamat. I said,
oh my God.
I said, sorry kami tak dapat selamat. I said, no, kamu selamat pun sudah cukup. It's okay. Rumah tu boleh buat balik. So I was like doing, this encouraging my own self, by the way. and then
Self-motivating.
And I sampai, the next day balik Kota Madu. Saya limas depan.
Oh man.
Saya parking di garage, seeing there's no more garage, man. And looking at my house, saya angkat Ariana and my teardrops turun looking at my house.
Shit, man.
It's all ground, man. Shit, man.
I can't, man.
Saya tengok the studio is gone. The equipment is gone. Saya tengok this is the place where we're gonna grow up there. Gonna grow old there. My children's gonna grow up there. No more. All the tiles are gone. Are popped out.
Cracked up, man.
Yeah. There's no more. There's no more kitchen. There's no more TV. Done. So because I work my ass off on that, we work on our ass off on that to build the house yang kita akan slowly make sure everything's perfect. Nanti next kita buat pagar, kita kena kasih simen sini.
Shit.
There's no more, man. So saya
all the plans that we talked about juga that you guys have planned. Oh my God. I remember that day yang I think it's exactly that day yang kau balik tu, that night saya balik Johan. Pergi tempat the big house tu.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man.
Saya muntah aku tau. I cannot control myself. Macam ada something yang I cannot accept. I thought I'm strong to face my own house that time. Saya muntah-muntah. My mom kan sabar. My net pun, si net peluk saya. Dia pun nangis. Saya pun macam, oh man, I got no more house to go back, or whatever got left in my luggage. That was the only things that left. Yang saya ada, and my wife ada, anak ada.
Sorry man.
And then I rebuilt from whatever I got from there.
Yeah.
People are seeing from the podcast, from everybody that's like, I'm okay. But actually deep down inside, shit, it is the hardest and traumatized event that I have to face. Losing my house. I miss my house. My wife miss my house. Even though my daughter pun nimbaskan, Nana house burn, I want to go back there. I miss Nana house. Saya pun macam shit man. Tapi itulah, saya accept takdir. Saya redha. So my God, I work hard. I work my ass off so hard. I go to the event which is macam fuck brand awareness, man. Memang, but actually, I'm looking for to rebuild the house and to rebuild ourselves. So, saya
hustle lah.
Yeah, hustle my ass off, and saya bagi net to cure her. This is for you. I said, I give her 20,000, more than that actually. I said, buy whatever you want to buy for the house. Kami pergi rental house. We stayed in the homestay for I think a month plus. Here and there, and then kami sewa rumah up until now. Up until now belum to rebuild the house, but we rebuild ourselves lah. That's the most important thing.
Yeah man.
There's something for you to go back to eat, to shade, and to to rebuild. Spiritually, externally, and we keep on doing our podcast and all. Yeah, man. And I'm in safe ground as long my family is there. My wife, my daughter, anak-anak ada. My family from Selaping, my family from Tawau is there. I'm okay. My friends around me are good, so I'm okay, I think. But we are still doing our best to rebuild the house. And that is one of my traumatized events that I cannot forget. This three lah, losing of my dad, the birth of my daughter Ingrid, and the losing of our house to ground zero.
Yeah man, people say more like a consolation word for you and your family. As long as your family is safe and you're together, anywhere that you go is your home. Yeah man. Shit man, I personally, coming from me, when it comes to your third traumatizing event, I was there with you.
You traumatized yourself watching that, experiencing that, right?
It was burnt to the ground in front of me. I couldn't do anything, but I'm glad your extended family is safe. Your mentua is safe, and Alif, he's the hero.
Yeah man.
Yeah, he's the hero. And
kau bayangkan kalau dia tiada, to run off and to tell everybody, to sambut my grandma. I mean his grandma, which is my in-law, my mother-in-law. Lompat daripada jendela. Crazy. Well, we are flying to Kuala Lumpur to talk about Gates, the event that you guys should go, especially for your Saban, even though you're from Peninsula or from Singapore, for neighboring countries. Come over to Gates. We're gonna fly to KL to speak with Mr. Delan.
Yeah man.
Here you go. Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Boss James. You are listening to Kinabalu Podcast, number 1 podcast in Sabah.
Baik, podcast ini dibawakan khas kepada anda oleh the 3rd Global Agritech Summit 2024. Come and join us at the this upcoming 8th and the 9th of October at Sabah International Convention Center, SICC, for an amazing event and a celebration with the future of agriculture. Di sini ni, di Global Agritech 2024 akan memberikan anda all scopes of angles to upscale opportunities in the future of making agriculture more profitable, more productive, more sustainable to the era of modernization sesuai mengikut cabang bidang peradangan anda.
Bukan itu sahaja, di sepanjang 2 hari ini kita akan dihujani dengan conference, Q&A sessions, bual bicara daripada panel-panel terkemuka negara khas buat hadirin dan hadirat yang hadir. Tidak lupa juga kita ada booth-booth yang padat dengan pameran serta knowledge yang tersedia oleh para peserta pameran di Gates 2024. Selain itu juga kita ada showcase, demonstrasi dan peluang meluaskan networking kita antara satu pengusaha ke pengusaha yang lain. Jangan lepaskan peluang ini dengan mendaftar penyertaan anda sekarang. So untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut lagi, terus saja layari www.globalagritechsummit.com atau email mereka di info@globalagritechsummit.com, dan anda juga boleh direct WhatsApp mereka di 012-335-5067.
Ya, kita masih lagi bersama dengan Mr. Dylan. For your information, Mr. Dylan, we are having quite a heavy storm right now outside the studio. But anyway, I want to ask you, Mr. Dylan, are you like macam in this agriculture? Are you actually from the background, probably?
Well, to be frank, of course, this generation yang I think mungkin the 80s generation were more into, work force and everything. So, agriculture ni kalau nak kata tak ada, tu tak adalah. Of course, came from the background of kampung,
I see.
exactly. So kita ada, bukan kata knowledge terlalu mendalam, tapi serba sedikit tu kita tahulah.
I see.
Kita balik kampung, rumah atuk, rumah nenek.
Where you from?
So, I'm from Perak.
Perak.
I'm
Which
from
part of
Perak.
Perak?
Yeah. Slim River.
Slim River.
Slim River is my kampung, yeah.
Is it true that they told us river there are all slim?
Dia nama saja Slim River tu slim, tapi dia
Kira river tu gemuk besar.
Just pulling your leg. But anyway, Mr. Dylan, I'm assuming you let me guess your age lah. I think you said 80s just now. Are you 81, 82?
more or less there.
Yeah.
More or less there.
Okay, because we I think we're quite the same age. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Dylan, one of the from the first product talk just now, you talk about food security. What is exactly what is food security?
It's a current issue that everyone is concerned. That globally, currently we are facing a lot of this food security issue. Okay.
What is
and
that, by
Malaysia
the
is no
way?
exemption. Malaysia is not exemption because there's a growing threat of the rising food insecurity globally.
I see.
Kalau kita tengok because of the production of the foods are not to the level of what it used to be, and some of the crises, some of the things that I could have gone and checked is almost. I think I came across an article that almost 700 million people faced hunger in 2022.
My goodness.
Where is that?
700 people, which I
Globally.
came across
Globally. Wow.
Yes.
See. May I ask? Oh, sorry to cut you. Please continue.
So even Malaysia is also is in that what you call part of this. Okay, and like some of the issues that kita just came through across, like the chicken, eggs.
Yeah.
This is part of it because we don't have that sustainable. We don't have that kind of stock. Why we don't do it and everything? Because kita tak produce.
Not enough.
We always bang on. And there was a lot of shortages and everything. Below shortages, there are a lot of people like to produce half-cooked things, you see.
I see.
So this is where the chemicals. See, sometimes, like us, maybe the kids grows in 80s, we know how our parents, we know how the nutrients there and everything. But now, we don't find it.
Okay.
So how can one solve these food security issues? So the the country, like for instance, I can take Malaysia. Malaysia should focus on the household financial ability, how they can, have this nutritional status and resilience. And they put a focus solely on national minyak production. So, as a sustainability as own initiative, sebagai individu, how can we produce on our own? So actually, a lot of abundance houses are there in the country. Mungkin, youngsters can come up, can learn, and do their own agriculture, which is basically based on the latest technologies, which don't use bad chemicals. Healthy foods for the next generation.
I see. That is food security lah.
I see.
So I think not just that. Actually, we have quite numerous numbers of program fully packed for these 2 days in here in Gates 2024. I think what do you wanna? I'm gonna give you a chance to or somehow to promote this event. Why should we go to our listeners?
Actually, this event, as I just mentioned earlier, this is also part of any other agriculture event taking place in the country.
Okay.
But perhaps what can differentiate between us and them is that ours is basically focusing on the conference, where we will touch on the latest current issues that is faced by the farmers, agriculture sectors and everything. So as you can see, a lot of new technologies, a lot of new innovation dah pun arrive globally.
Correct.
Tapi whether we are ready to capture it, whether we are ready to learn, get the knowledge untuk make use of it and untuk produce, a very sustainable food for the future, kita yang perlu soalan kita. So, I mean, we have to ask the question dekat kita lah. So, speakers yang kita bawa ini will discuss in depth the issues that is being faced oleh farmers. Dan mereka juga akan memberi beberapa solution. Dan all the exhibitors akan bawa teknologi terbaru, sebab event ini bukan hanya cover the technology sector. The technology sekarang diguna pakai oleh semua sektor, perikanan, peladangan, livestock, poultry, semua pakai teknologi. So that's why ours, you can see the name Global Agri-Tech.
Correct.
So the tech is actually focusing all the 360 degree of the sectors.
Wow, the technology sector, of course.
So like Sabah especially, we believe that Sabah State has a lot of potential.
Yes,
has a lot of course, Kementerian and the Sabah State itself has a lot of, plan untuk farmers, untuk in-house private sectors untuk explore global market. So this open up a door lah sebagai satu pembukaan untuk mereka mengenali, lebih mendekati di topik-topik yang akan dibawa oleh speaker yang berbawa pengalaman, and most importantly interaction dengan international delegate. Itu yang sangat penting. Walaupun kita jemput international delegate ke Sabah untuk mengenali Sabah, tapi peluang untuk kita juga untuk mendekati mereka dan mendengar ataupun mendapat nasihat daripada mereka juga.
Yes, that's the biggest. I think the biggest
benefit is coming from it.
Coming from it. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dylan. We should be talking more for many episodes before you guys coming down. But I wish.
Thank you so much.
I think I wish prior to the event, if you will be coming down, probably for 3 weeks, probably prior to it, we can do a face-to-face in the studio with us, Kinabalu Podcast.
We will do, inshallah, we will do.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome.
All right, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Dylan.
Thank you so much, and I just want to tell that this event is brought by My Events International, supported by Kementerian Pertanian, Perikanan dan Industri Makanan Sabah.
Wow. Okay. A little bit cut off there.
Digital partner Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation.
Okay.
MDEC. Dan supported by Padasama Sabah, Eco-Yap Farm dan juga Sabah Tourism Board.
Nice.
Wow.
Dan our exclusive invest partner Invest Sabah, dan of course you guys Thank you so much. Kinabalu
Yes.
Podcast, you guys are really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
This is
thank you.
we want to, of course, share this knowledge to our, our locals here for sure.
Yes, man.
Because
Our listeners as well.
we grew up with farmers, we grew
Yeah.
up with this environment, and I think they should really take a chance to come and learn more and take more knowledge there
Yeah.
for sure.
That is true.
Alright, podcast ini dibawakan kepada anda oleh The Third Global Agritech Summit 2024. Datang bersama-sama bersama kami di 8 dan 9 Oktober ini di Sabah International Convention Center SICC untuk amazing punya event dalam selebrasi kita bersama dengan future ataupun masa depan agriculture. Di sini ni Global Agritech ni Gates ni 2024 ni kan kita akan memberikan anda all sorts of angle to upscale opportunities in the future of making agriculture more profitable, more productive, more sustainable to the era of modernization sesuai mengikut cabang bidang peradangan anda.
Ya, di sepanjang 2 hari ini kita akan dihujani dengan conference Q&A sessions.
Yep.
Bual bicara daripada panel-panel terkemuka negara khas buat hadirin dan hadirat yang hadir. Dan jangan lupa juga kita ada booth-booth yang padat dengan pameran serta knowledge yang tersedia oleh para peserta pameran di Gates 2024.
Yeah.
Selain itu juga kita ada showcase, demonstrasi dan peluang meluaskan networking kita antara satu pengusaha ke pengusaha yang lain. Jadi jangan lepaskan peluang ini dengan mendaftar penyertaan anda sekarang.
Now.
Untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut lagi, terus saja layari www.globalagritechsummit.com sekarang atau email mereka di info@globalagritechsummit.com.
Yep.
Dan jangan lupa anda juga boleh direct WhatsApp mereka di 012-335-5067.
Wow.
Wow.
Jadi sampai di sini saja. Saya Ricardo.
Saya Kenny.
Kami dari Kinabalu Podcast, the number one podcast in Sabah. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao Bella, ciao.
Hi everyone, I'm Boss James. You are listening to Kinabalu Podcast, number one podcast in Sabah.